There are real fears that terrorists cutting their teeth in Syria could spread across the EU. Europeans make up a big chunk of the 17,000 foreign jihadists thought to be in the war-torn country. The biggest European contributor is France there. As many as 700 of its nationals could be in Syria right now. Belgium and the UK are also in the top three. The worry is that what happens when they return home? Archie Sarafaz caught up with one British citizen who lost his brother to a war thousands of miles from home.
They're young, British, and they're travelling to Syria in their hundreds.
If people are being killed, you're going to help. How could you argue with that kind of thing?
And according to one expert, they're now part of the largest European Islamist foreign fighting contingent in recent times.
They add up to at least 1,100. And if you use the maximum estimates, you get to over 1,700.
It was from this picturesque seaside town of Southsea in Portsmouth that a group of young men recently left to go and join the fight in Syria. About a month ago, news reached the community that 23-year-old Iftikhar Jaman was killed whilst fighting on the Syrian front line. This is the local mosque that Iftikhar and a number of his friends attended before they left for Syria, where they joined one of the most radical opposition groups operating in the country, ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Sham. Now, before he died, Iftikhar was active on social media, posting videos and updates of the group's activities there. Now, in the first interview since his brother's death, Mustaqim Jaman exclusively tells RT he wants to set the record straight about who his brother really was and why he thinks he went to fight.
The only difference between him and a normal soldier going out is a uniform. Just because he wasn't in a uniform that supports his nationality, he's being looked at like a terrorist or something else, like, you know, a jihadist, as they call it, just because he wasn't in a uniform. But what's the difference is that the people in uniform, they don't always fight for the people, they fight for what benefits them as a country. And what he fought for was for the people.
Like many foreign fighters, Iftikhar had crossed into Syria via Turkey. It was only once there he informed his family he'd gone to fight jihad, or holy war. Do you think that the young men that had gone there are misinterpreting what jihad is?
Completely misinterpreting about the jihad. And especially in the Syria case, it is completely wrong concept and wrong idea there.
Other members of the religious community we met in Portsmouth agreed, and they're under no doubts as to one of the major challenges in tackling youth engagement.
Social media, their friends in other places, they get led down a path of, oh, this looks interesting, oh, and suddenly they're listening to a teaching that I know that our leaders here in Portsmouth would not support.
I don't think the problem exists within any of the mosques in Portsmouth per se. The issue lies in where, if those mosques are not delivering what the youth want, they may look for it somewhere else.
Across the country and Europe-wide, and the Syrian conflict is engaging a young generation like never before.
A few years ago, me and my brother and my friends, we were just ordinary boys, you know, we never thought about this stuff, we never spoke about it. You know, we were still aware of what's going on around the world, but we never thought, you know, that my brother, the one that's 1 year older than me, is going to be on who died in a battlefield. It's just something that hasn't sunk in for me or a lot of people. So I know it's happened, but it still hasn't sunk in. So the full force hasn't been hit yet. No.
Sarah Firth, RT, reporting from Portsmouth in the south of England.
And for more, the Europeans joining jihadist fighters in Syria will now going to Belgium next. RT has been closely following the story of a Belgian father whose son converted to Islam and left for Syria to fight alongside the rebels there. Well, the young man has since returned home, and his father, Dmitry Botnik, joins us now live. Mr. Dmitry Botnik, welcome to RT. Very nice to see you again. The last time we spoke, you said there was little chance you would see your son again. How did he manage to get back?
Well, guys, glad to hear from you. And I succeeded in my third mission to bring my son back. And that's according this mission, according to the media. Because the media in the whole history of the mondial polemic of Syrian Western youngsters who are in Syria, Western European youngsters, it's only the media who make attention on this story. So my story have been in the whole world news by your side guys, Russia, China, Japan, Middle East, BBC, and can continue sewing on. So this appeals that I make in the media that I was looking for my missing son, it reached them on the field in Syria. And today there is white smoke. I succeed in my third mission to bring my son back, safety, in a good health, not radicalized, not traumatized, back safe to Europe. So, but what I want to say in this, in all this story is that it's a scandal that European governments, especially my own government, Belgian government, is doing nothing. There is no respect, there is no solidarity for parents to bring youngsters back from Syria.
Right,
there is no support.
was it his decision
So it's a scandal. So the only something they are doing, this Belgian government, is they are talking always what we're going to do if this youngster return. Maybe they are a danger for the society. Well, I can confirm you that is not. That is only a politician, populist, something discussion they're talking about. And my son is not radicalized, he is not traumatized. All these journalists from the world press who go to Syria, when they return, are they traumatized? Are they radicalized? No. No, not
Dimitri,
at all. And
was that his decision to leave Syria? Why did he decide to leave Syria? Tell us more about his time there.
Well, first of all these media appeals I make in the past that I was looking for my missing son, it reached them on the field in Syria. It reached them. So my son, he told me he couldn't believe it first that his own father was in Syria looking for him. And after he said, yeah, I know my father for sure. He wouldn't have been here in Syria. So it's according to the media that I succeed in my mission, and all these appeals that I make in the media to return, we succeed with it.
Dimitri, what exactly was your son doing in Syria? Did he take part in actual battles there?
No, my son never fight in Syria. First of all, my son, he have been in Syria for to make his own jihad. But jihad, in a way, he did volunteer work. So someone in the world, if you are talking about jihad, people think immediately that people are fighting. Which one is not? For some Muslim true believers, making jihad can also be a part of doing volunteer work, giving food and medication to civilian people. This can also be a way of making jihad. And my son did a lot of volunteer work in this way, in the way of giving food and medicines for civilian people. And separate from that, he have been a while hostage also in Syria. What did decide my son to come back to Europe? First of all, because the appeals I make in the media, and we succeed in this. And second, because he realized also that he don't want to die as a martyr in Syria. He asked himself many times the question on the field in Syria: is this my future? Is this the world I wanna live in? And after he sees so many cruel things and incredible things, he decided to return to his family, which one he miss also his family, his mother and father and sister and all these kind of things.
Okay, well, what was the Belgian authorities' response? What was the response of Belgian authorities to your son being in Syria?
Yes, the response of the Belgian authorities is a scandal. It's disgusting because we never have support or respect or solidarity. In fact, the major from the city where my son lives, he cancelled the residence address of my son. And when my son returned, the Belgian justice arrested my son. Do you really think this is the right way to bring youngsters back to Europe? Never. Never. In fact, all these youngsters will never return because all these news received them in Syria, and what they say, if we come back, they arrested us. Why? Because we do volunteer work here. That's the reason why many of them never will return to Belgium, and they are not terrorists. Terrorism is a product of the West. Terrorism is a product of the West.
You just told us your story. You just told us your story. You went to Syria yourself looking for your son. How many young people from Europe are fighting there? Where do they mostly come from? What's motivating them? Tell us more.
Look, I'm sure about it. There is no doubt about it. If you're talking about only Europe, we are talking about, and believe me, I know what I'm saying, we are talking about between 15 and 20,000 European youngsters that are in Syria at this moment. And every day, they are still going to Syria, mondial, from all over the world. They still arrive in Turkey in the airports. They just pass the border in Turkey, Syria, and they're all still going to Syria. Government is doing nothing to stop this. They're doing nothing to stop this. And in fact, the only something Belgian government is doing, they are talking about it, what we're going to do with these youngsters when they return. That's the only something they are talking about. But they don't take responsibility. Then don't take responsibility to stop the polemic of youngsters going to Syria. And why they spread smoke and mirrors? Why? To lead the attention away from the real problems. Because they fail in holding and stopping youngsters going to Syria.
Dimitri Bondnik, father of a Belgian who went to Syria to fight alongside the jihadist forces there and recently came back home. Dimitri, thank you very much indeed for your time and for sharing all that with us.
I succeed in my mission. I have proven that it is possible to bring youngsters back to Europe, because I have proven in my mission I brought my son back safely.
All right, thank you very much for your mission as well. Dimitri, thank you.